how would you improve the township's disaster management capabilities and response, including the, I'm having trouble reading this, removal of tree and other debris after storms?
Well, number one, I think we have one of the best DPW groups within the county, second to none. But the more direct answer to your question is to get that type of feedback from our residents, and maybe where those disasters have happened, especially where the trees are the most noticeable, for example, along Harder Road or other areas. You get into that neighborhood, you talk to the residents, maybe even have a special meeting with those residents as to what type of removal they can expect. Setting expectations is critical. When we get hit with a hurricane like Sandy or some of these other anomalies, it takes time. You know, you don't build a church for Easter Sunday. You can't have a DPW that can clean up things immediately upon removal. Yet I will put our DPW up against anyone in our county, because just look at the snow removal after a 2-foot snowfall, things of that sort. Going back to the communication issue, that's where the opportunity lies, to sit with those residents that are most directly affected and to set their expectations.
Thank you. Mr. Gyorfy.
Yeah, I think you have to be proactive, and during the March storms that we had, where the townships got battered, more and more trees were knocked over. Many residents had tree limbs and debris in their front yards for like months. And I think what you have to do is either, moving forward, work with our neighboring towns or the county to come up with some sort of plan where towns are able to identify spare resources, and where towns can then utilize those to work on the problems, or remove debris or clear streets. Another opportunity, I think, is to actually have agreements with contractors and bring help in when we need it in certain after states of emergency. And it's 2018. I don't think there is an excuse for having debris piled up in a front yard for 2 months. And then I'll echo Mr. Calvanelli's statements. I do know that the DPW does do a fantastic job. I see that as a member of the fire department. They're out there in the storms when we are, and they do an amazing job, and they do put their lives on the line sometimes during the storms. They clean up the streets and clean up debris for us.
Thank you. Mr. Sisler.
Yeah, so the reason for the March issue with the trees going down is the storm actually hit not just Morris Township, but all of the neighboring towns as well as the county. So we had to dispose of this debris somewhere, along with every town around. So that was the issue, and it wasn't just in Morris Township that we had trouble in terms of where we were going to dump the debris. That was the biggest challenge. In terms of our emergency responders, our Office of Emergency Management does an absolutely phenomenal job, along with our fire department, our police department. This township committee has given and appropriated money, additional funds to the Morris Minutemen every single year that I've been on the township committee, and we will continue to do so.
Thank you. Mr. Gyorfy.
Mr. Grayzel.
I mean, yes. Mr. Grayzel. Yes.
So I think that after so many storms that have battered us, we don't have any trees left that are going to fall down. We only have strong from left, so it's not going to be a real problem going forward. Let's hope. But if it does, as been stated up here, we have a really good DPW. They did a really good job cleaning up. Yes, people had to live with limbs in the street for a while a plan came into place. But once the plan was in place, which did take some time for technical reasons with state approvals, DPW executed it very well. And I think with the resources we have, we do the best job that we can. We live in a community of trees. And when you live in a community of trees, some of them are going to fall down in a storm. And those are the trade-offs. There are trade-offs with other quality of life issues as well. But I think going forward, we continue to really do what we've been doing, because the DPW has been doing a very good job.
Thank you. Would any of you like to rebut or follow up? Yes, Mr. Calvanelli, 30 seconds.
You know, having lived through the Sandy storm and then and been without power for 2 weeks, as many of you here in the audience were without power for days or weeks or whatever, and then to get hit again and again with some of these issues. The one thing I kind of came full circle on is, I think it would behoove us as a community, when we have these types of disasters, to have some type of maybe special meeting and to set expectations. I really come back to that, because I think people in our township are reasonable, they understand the limitations we have, and it's our obligation to kind of set those expectations. And if I'm on the committee, that would be the type of role that I would play.
Mr. Gyorfy?
Yeah, I mean, I think you need a disaster mitigation plan, and I don't know if there is a high-level one in the township. If, you know, we had Hurricane Irene, that, you know, there's a ton of flooding in Morris Township, Hurricane Sandy, and these storms. But if there is one that hasn't been communicated to the residents, and I think that's important to set expectations for them when we are dealing with these cleanups. So if there is an expectation that there will be a delay, it should be communicated to them earlier on.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then we're going